Good evening and welcome to Eye to Eye. I'm your host, Linda Kavanaugh. Our show takes a different approach to exploring issues we face in society and in our lives. We won't just keep redefining problems regarding the economy or give you information about issues that you already know. Rather, we hope to provide some useful information that you can use to form your own opinions and perhaps find creative, logical ways to help address them. Our goal is not to look at someone else to do something, but to find ways that each of us, as individuals, can do something positive. With that in mind, this series has two program formats. The first involves one-to-one interviews with people in the know about various issues. For the second type of show, I'm asking you, our viewing audience, to participate. We'll be selecting 4 viewer volunteers per show to appear with me to discuss a specific topic. We would also like someone, perhaps a student with a laptop, to be an on-camera web resource for information and his or her comments. We try to select a mix of people, different ages, backgrounds, and experience, who do not have specific expertise regarding the topic, but who will listen to other panelists and have some realistic suggestions or views that may not have been fully considered before. You won't be representing any group, company, or agency, just yourself. We'll explain how to be considered as a viewer volunteer guest later. Gabey Giblin is a well-known person in the field of real estate in this area. For over 25 years, she has worked in the field, and for much of that time, she's owned and run her own real estate company. Over that time, Gabey has seen how real estate is a very important driver for the economy and for jobs. She has seen cyclical trends, and we look forward to her sharing views on what happened in the past and where we are today regarding the housing market and our economy. Gabey, I'm delighted to have you with us on Eye to Eye this evening. Welcome.
Thank you, Linda. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. You've been a woman entrepreneur in real estate for many years, and I'm just curious, what led you to that career?
Well, Linda, you know, I got out of college and I had a health and wellness background in nutrition dietetics, and when I got out, I started working in a hospital, and I was a little bit bored and I wanted to see what else was happening out there, and a friend of mine mentioned real estate, and I'm one of those education-based people. I like to read, I like to find out what's happening, I like taking classes, so he asked me if I would consider taking a class because his friend was a broker, and I said, sure, why not? It was something to do, and you know, I thought it was going to be a little hobby, and a hobby turned into a pretty big passion for me, but I started out part-time really, and found I had something that I really enjoyed doing.
Wow. So you went from medicine to real estate then, in that case, right?
I like that.
Yeah. Do you think real estate is still a good career choice for people? I mean, you know, I'm talking about in this type of economy. I know in the past it may have been, but what do you think it still is?
I do. I really do. And I think it's a career for serious people. It's not something you play at, and I don't think it's ever should have been that. But you know, when times are really good, and people think, wow, it's easy money, just get out there and sell some houses. But that's really not what it's about. We have a big responsibility in helping people. And I think now the industry has changed. It is getting more and more difficult. But if you have a serious desire to be a real estate professional, it's a great time to be in the business.
You sort of mentioned a little bit about it, but the skills and attributes that are needed to be really successful in the field. What types, and you mentioned also courses. So let's just start first off with the skills and attributes that people would need to be successful.
Okay, I think, well, number one, like in any business, if you want to be successful, you have to have a passion for something. And people oftentimes ask me, oh, did you get into this because you love houses and you wanted to sell houses? And that's not why at all. At first I was just exploring taking a class, but soon I found out that what I really, really enjoyed is I liked helping people. I liked consulting. I never really looked at myself as a salesperson. I looked at myself as a problem solver and someone that wanted to help someone get their equity equity out of their home and make an investment in something, or someone to, find that perfect place for their children and their family to grow. So I really enjoyed that, and it made me feel good to help others, and I found that was my passion.
So it's not just merely, you have a 3-bedroom house somewhere and, this family wants to buy one, but you actually kind of went behind that as to, what you're doing to really help that family or help the people that are selling the home, actually, trying to get behind that and see what you can do to help. I know you mentioned also about courses, and I know there is a basic real estate course that people can take. I mean, whether you're in the field of real estate or not, I mean, there are a lot of other people that can use that course too. Sure. But besides that, and a lot of places give it, a lot of the, like UConn gives it, and a lot of the community, the colleges, and probably junior colleges as well have that course. But
sure, lots of places offer the classes. That's the basic principles and practices. But I have to say, just like any thing that you do in business, just even going to school, going to college, you go to take the classes, but when you get out into the real world, it's totally something different. I mean, it's good to have the background, it's good to have some of that knowledge, but you really have to go out and get it done. And I would say the best way to do that is to find a mentor. To find someone who's really done what it is that you want to do, whether it's in the real estate business or any business, go out there, find somebody to do that, work with them. Because I think that's the fastest way to create a business for yourself, is to find out, find who's doing it and go out there and work with them.
That's a great idea, is to get a mentor, absolutely. And, I think people are willing to share more than we give them credit for. I mean, it's maybe not as difficult. If you approach them in the right fashion, I mean, a lot of people are willing to share their expertise with you, and
Absolutely.
give you a little help, a little boost. Just getting back to the courses, though, basically, is there like one course that people can sort of get their foot into the real estate door, or is it a whole series of courses? We mentioned the real estate practices and principles and stuff,
Right.
but does that one?
Well, every company has different things that they offer. For example, Keller Williams, where I currently have my license, we have ongoing classes, and they're very education-based company. So a lot of the people that will come in don't have any experience. Some have lots of experience. It's a place that anyone can come in and learn. And actually, the senior realtors and brokers also, like myself, will actually teach some of these classes to people coming in. But also, we're we have a very organized educational system, and we have classes that you can come in and take at our office. You can take them online, local seminars, national seminars, but there's a lot of education there. And again, there's just so much, and you just learn that as you
So when you're saying you could, I mean, you're talking about just people in your company, or are you talking about people from outside can take the courses? People from outside wouldn't be able to take the courses unless they're maybe realtors.
Well, they have to get their real estate license first, and then get the basic principles and practices. But a lot of our classes are actually open to everyone once they're licensed. They don't have to be a member of Keller Williams. They can come and take some of our classes.
Oh, I see. Okay, I remember, and you also have, I think, every year you have to take a certain amount of credits.
Every 2 years.
Right? Okay, because I worked for HUD for many years, and I remember we would help to do some of those classes for credits, the continuing credits and such. So now tell us quickly, and I don't mean to just dwell on real estate, because we want to talk about you as a business person and actually, that aspect. But tell me the difference between, I think people don't know the difference between, let's say, a realtor and a broker.
Okay, well, their words are used interchangeably. A realtor is a person that subscribes to a certain code of ethics, as opposed to a real estate agent just getting a license. So a realtor has a code of ethics. A broker's license is a little bit more detailed. A broker can open their own practice. So a realtor still has their license underneath the brokerage house, the broker. So I'm actually both. I've had my own company, so I'm a real estate broker, but I work under the umbrella of the Keller Williams franchise.
Oh, okay. I understand now. When people are trying to get some of these courses, does sometimes the company help to pay for the courses, or the people pay for them themselves, the real estate people themselves?
Most of the people pay for them themselves.
Okay. Yeah. Are salaries strictly like commission-based for real estate people generally?
Generally speaking, they are, but there are so many things that vary here. For example, sometimes a real estate practitioner or a realtor will hire someone as either an admin person and pay a salary, and they're involved in some aspect of the real estate transaction, or they might even hire another realtor to assist them, and they might pay them a salary plus commission. Or they might just give them a piece of the commission. So it really varies from individual to individual and office to office, but we've seen different things. People have large teams. Today, people work in teams also. Perhaps one side might work with buyers and another side might work with sellers. Okay, so it's oftentimes we'll see listing agents that have a lot of volume of listings on the market will need some support from someone because it can be a very dysfunctional business. Because when you think about real estate, they're doing everything. Someone looks at, but who's putting up the sign? Who's doing the admin? Who's doing the marketing, the technology, the after the sale process? So it can get quite dysfunctional if you don't treat it as a business and separate that.
A question that just came to mind is, have you seen a big change over time because of computers coming into the, being so much a part of our lives? I mean, you've been in the field for over 20 years, 25 years plus or minus here. So you must have seen a big change.
Lots of changes.
What's happened regarding computers?
Oh, God,
I know we've had
changes.
MLS for quite a long time.
It's just like night and day. I mean, the fundamentals of the business are the same. I would say in any business, we're in a lead generation business. So no matter what business you're in, you are looking for prospects, leads, and so on. And after a while, as you get more and more successful, it's referral based. Most successful people have a large referral base of business, and that's where most of my business is now. But when I started, my God, we used to have these MLS books that were this thick.
Yes, I
and me being one of those learning-based people, I thought I had to read everything in that MLS book. So I would stay up all night and look at everything. My eyes were puffy in the morning, and I thought that's what I had to do. And boy, have times changed. I mean, everything is computerized now. We don't even have MLS books anymore. Everything's online. As a matter of fact, our clients, people, the public now gets instant access to information on their cell phones. So when a new property comes on the market, most people can just go right on their cell phone and see. We actually will put people on a preferred client list so that if they want specific information sent to their phone, as soon as a new property comes up that meets their criteria, they get it right away. So things have changed quite a bit. I don't know what I did before texting.
Wow.
Because that's a big part of our business now.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's amazing. Now, just getting to the market itself, we've noticed, of course, the economy has tanked sort of the past 5-6 years, and real estate was a big factor right at the beginning of it. Where are we now? Is the market still soft? Are we actually kind of beginning to work ourselves out of this problem? Where are we, sort of?
It's an interesting place to be right now. I mean, we see that over the last year, transactions are definitely up. We can feel it. People are saying, oh yeah, we're much busier than we were last year. So the number of transactions is up. We're probably up between 12 and 19% over last year in terms of number of sales.
Is that just in Connecticut, or is
that's in the Greater Hartford, Greater Hartford area? Okay. But so the inventory is down right now, which that's stabilizing the market a little bit. The prices aren't really going anywhere. They're pretty much flat right now. And again, it's really important to note that while in some areas it's a buyer's market, in other areas it's a seller's market. For example, in West Hartford right now, it's a seller's market. But there are pockets. So what I do when I have clients is we really look at price ranges, the community, and see what the absorption rates are. How many homes are selling over the last 12 months? How many are on the market? So what is the absorption rate of that home? And if we see that we have about a 6-month absorption rate, that's a balanced market. When it gets to be 7 or 8 months or more, now you're in a buyer's market. If you've got only a few months, confusing. Okay,
hold it. Now just take me back to that absorption thing again, because I think that I had it in the beginning, but then you sort of kind of lost me on it. So
for example, let's say last year, in the last 12 months, we had 36 sales. Okay, the given price range, let's say, because it doesn't matter if the homes are $400,000, $500,000. But you're sitting here and you've got an $800,000 home. You really want to look at homes that are maybe $8 to $1 million. So again, we're looking at your particular community, your particular range, maybe a couple towns.
Okay.
And let's say we had 36 homes last year that closed in that range. And right now, I'm looking at, okay, we have 18 homes on the market. Okay. So now what we have is we have a 6-month absorption. So we have enough homes for 6 months. That would mean we're in a balanced market. Okay, if we had 36 homes on the market, we've got a year's worth of inventory, 12 months. That means, whoa, buyers can be really choosy, and we better get that house priced right, staged, and looking really nice because we're in a really competitive place. Likewise, if we have, maybe only 6 homes on the market currently, now we're in a buyer's market. So while in one area you might be looking at being in a seller's market, in another area you're in a buyer's market. So the bottom line is you really need to find a professional.
I was just going to say, you really need to have
find someone, a local realtor. Right, you can't just put this on the internet and let it spit out some information. You really need to find a realtor that knows the market, get with them, have them share with you the local statistics, and plan accordingly.
And even if somebody comes across as, a real go-getter and has sold a lot of houses, that may not be in your particular area, and they might not have that kind of understanding of what is going on in your particular area.
You can't go out by enthusiasm alone. You really need to have some facts and be able to analyze that and have your realtor, your local professional educate you with that.
Now, in terms of the prices of housing, can you tell us a little bit now versus what was happening maybe 10 years ago or so? I mean, have houses gotten more valuable so that even though it's gone down now, it's still halfway decent? If you've had a home for a long time, you're still going to be able to take some money out of that house and put it towards something else.
Sure, if you bought before the market went up, and again, in many areas that was 2005, 6, 7, the market peaked. If you bought before that, we're back to those prices. But I tell people, if you're buying a home today, you're going to be just fine, because in 10 years from now, everything will be up. I mean, we are at or very near the bottom, if not already at the bottom, coming back out of it. It's hard to really tell. No one has that crystal ball, but it really feels like we are coming back out of this right now. So I think it's a very good time to be a buyer, not just for prices of homes, but look at the interest rates. I mean, I got into the market when the rates were 13, 14, and they were coming down. And I was so excited when they were 10 and 3/4. I was telling everybody, go out and buy a home. Rates are great. I bought a house then. Oops.
And now,
so I've seen those cycles and I've been part of them, so I can relate to what everybody's gone through in this.
Well, you were talking about if you're planning on keeping a home for several years. So what you're saying is it's not necessarily the type of market where you want to just get in, buy a house, and get out, and try to take a quick profit, because
it's not really a time to flip. I would say it's not really time to flip. It's dangerous. It's always been risky to do that anyway. You really have to go in. If you're going to go in there and try to make a quick profit now, you have to go in and buy the place with equity. You have to really look at it and say there's already no equity in the property. If you know the property is, it's $200,000 and you can get it for $160,000, you've got equity in it. Okay, go in with the equity. I think it's really risky to just go in and flip. You really need to know what you're doing. But buying a home, people buy homes to live in their homes and to raise their families. And I think it's just important that, you do it for that reason, the combination of rates
now,
today.
I think I know the answer to this, but is financing tougher than it used to be? I mean, when you actually go to get a mortgage or to get some financing for a house, I mean, I know a while back there, almost anything was going for a while there, and I think now it's completely the opposite? Or?
I think it's really not that difficult. Honestly, I haven't had any issues getting financing. Obviously, someone needs a 2-year work history. They need to have reasonable credit, because again, the rates will change with that. There's some stability there and some sort of a down payment. But we've gotten people in homes with 3.5% to 5% down with some of the FHA loans, 5%, 10%. It's very doable. And I think that, they're not doing what they did in the old days. I mean, when people were going out there buying homes with no money down and just leveraging themselves out. I mean, of course, I think it just makes a lot more sense today, and I think lenders are saying, does this make sense? And sticking with some parameters, but it's really not that difficult to get a loan if you just, have those things, the job history and a little bit of down payment.
Now, Do you find that people are renting more? People who perhaps used to buy houses are more inclined to rent now because they're a little skittish, or are people going into the real estate market, you know?
The people that are able to buy, I find, are buying. What's happened, which is really a difficult thing, is that a lot of people who got caught up in the high market lost a lot of their equity. And some of them have done some damage to their credit. I mean, things just happen. Things happen to good people.
Right.
And so that, again, now you're stuck because you can't get a loan. And so now it's a time to reestablish the credit and then go out ahead. But if I'm finding that most people who can prefer to own, especially over the long term, if they're going to be somewhere for a year or so, well, maybe renting is an option.
Yes.
But if it's any more than that, people want to buy because oftentimes actually it's less expensive to own than to rent. Because again, you are paying someone else's mortgage. But many times
that brings me to the question that I was thinking, you know, what kinds of questions does a potential homeowner have to ask themselves? And I think you just hit on one of them, certainly, is just doing the figures, the math, to see, well, would it be more to my advantage economically to plunk down, you know, $2,000 for a rent, or try to put that toward a mortgage instead, and you know, not only the mortgage but the upkeep of the home and everything like that. That all has to be factored in. So, so those are some of the questions: is how's the math work out?
Exactly, and that's part of the real estate consultant's job, is to sit down with someone and look at a person's option, not just go out there with the intent of, I'm going to sell these people this home. It's really taking a consultative approach to that and seeing if it's the best thing for them. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not, but again, it's an individual thing.
So, so they have to know. Well, you know, first of all, they have to hopefully hope that they have a steady stream of income. You know, either through a job or if their business is really doing well and everything like that. I mean, that's one thing that they have to ask themselves. They have to do the math, as we said. But what about in where to live? What questions should they start to ask themselves? You know, location and stuff.
Again, you know, that hasn't changed much. It's usually what are the three most important things about real estate: location, location, and sometimes it's just location to what? I mean, some people really want to be within walking distance to the schools for their children, to the church, shopping. Other people just want privacy, so they don't mind being a little bit further out if they have that privacy, not looking right at their neighbors. You know, it's really personal, and I think we just need to listen to what our clients are asking of us, and you know, put them in touch with that.
Do you know, you did mention a little bit earlier on in one of the questions that about first-time buyers, and what are some of the assistance that they can have? I mean, you know, is there CHFA or what kind of?
That still exists. It's just like it has, 3.5% to 5% down exists. Just a conventional loan at 5% down exists. So, as I mentioned, it really isn't that difficult to get a loan, whether you're a first-time buyer, second-time buyer. You know, the FHA is there. So, no, I would say the most important thing to do is don't just run out and start looking at homes. Be prepared, do the math, get with someone that can actually run the credit, give you the financial options, look at the monthly payment, because the last thing you want to do is go out there, look at something, fall in love, and say, oh, you know, it's really a lot more than my family budget was, you know, planning to spend. And so you really want to stay within that budget, because we don't just want a home. We want a home, but we also want a lifestyle, and we don't want to not be able to go to the movies or go out to eat or take that family vacation. You really have to look at the whole picture, not overextend yourself.
Let's do the flip side. What about older people, and what kinds of questions should they ask themselves before they actually want to move, let's say, from a home into an apartment or assisted living or something like that? What are some of the questions that maybe they should be looking at, you know? Well, should they ask themselves before they list with a realtor?
In terms of where they're going, downsizing. Well, obviously the best thing to do is, you know, what are their goals really? I mean, are their goals, if their goals were, you had mentioned before, if they were going to get a mortgage for something else, they can get a 30-year mortgage, by the way. It's not age restricted. So if they were going into something smaller, they were purchasing. Sure. If they wanted a smaller condo or something like that, again, do they want to rent? Are they perhaps just staying here for a little while and going someplace else and not not wanting to, again, absorb the cost of selling. It's important if it's something temporary, like for anyone, regardless of the age, you're going to be selling in a couple years, you have to look at between the appreciation and the cost of the commissions and all the closing costs you'll have. It might not be wise to be purchasing if you're doing that.
And a realtor or a real estate person will be able to work you through that. And,
yes, of course.
Yeah.
And the other issue, do they want to be confined to taking care of the property? If they're in a condo and they own it, one of the issues in a home would be the maintenance. In a condominium, again, most of the things are taken care of. In an apartment, though, it's less stable because some people, when they get older, they just want to know it's theirs, that no one can kick them out. So.
But of course, but the condos, you have the fees. I think that sort of worries people a little bit too. I mean, so there's a whole bunch of
pay for it one way or another.
You're going to pay for it one way or the other. Two quick more questions, and then I'll let you go because you're a busy businesswoman, and I really do appreciate this. What about foreclosures? If people want to get involved or learn more about foreclosures, are there special people that they should contact, or how should people go do something like that?
Yeah, if you're actually a buyer looking for foreclosures, the best thing to do is contact your local realtor or a local company, and you can ask. You can certainly ask, is there someone in your office that specializes in foreclosures? And you should interview them. And there's nothing wrong with asking the questions. How many people have you helped? And in terms of, are you buying or selling? Okay.
I getcha. Where can people get in touch with you if they want to? And would you come back for a second show, because we have too many questions and too little time?
My pleasure. I'd love to come back.
She's coming back. Now, where can they contact you?
They can contact me just at my email address. It's my name, GabeyGiblin@gmail.com. You can Google me under Gabey. There's not many Gabeys around, so my number's everywhere.
Thank you very much, Gabey. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to having Gabey come back. I want to offer to have everyone come and give me a little note if you're willing to be a guest volunteer for Eye to Eye to have a roundtable discussion. The panel will be chosen from volunteers. Please contact me at linda@i2i.com. linda@itv.com. And I just want to say, until next time, this is Linda Kavanaugh wishing you a very good evening and hoping that we can all see eye to eye.